Hi there! Welcome to my step-by-step tutorial on crafting an open-up pouch. In this video, I'll walk you through the entire process of creating this multi-purpose pouch. It's an ideal project for intermediate crafters, but if you're a beginner, don't worry. I've broken it down step by step so you can easily follow along too. I'll share my techniques and tips to help you make your very own pouch. I've included a link in the description to the PDF pattern for this bag, so feel free to check it out and grab it to get started. All right, grab your materials and let's dive in. With all the fabric already interfaced, pattern pieces cut and marking transferred, you should have the following pattern pieces and materials ready for the open-up pouch. The exterior of the main body. The interior of the main body. Handle. Divider pocket. Inner pocket. Long gusset. Triangle gusset. Zipper ends. Double cap rivets. Zipper with 1 slider. Double slide zipper with 2 sliders. Once all materials are prepared, we can begin making the open-up pouch. Start by placing the foam stabilizer onto the wrong side of the main fabric and secure them together with wonder clips. For this pouch, I'm using By Annie's Soft and Stable as my foam stabilizer. It's a thick, cushioned material that gives your projects a strong, structured shape with a nice, padded feel. You can use any foam stabilizer you like, or even swap it for fusible fleece. Just note that fleece will make things softer and less rigid. So, when picking materials, think about the firmness and stability you want for your pouch. Next, zigzag stitch around the entire edge to reduce bulk. I recommend a stitch width of 6 and a stitch length of 2.5 for the zigzag stitch. Next, we will work on the handle. With the handle fabric piece wrong side facing up, fold it lengthwise and iron to make creases. Open the fabric, fold both raw edges inward to the crease line, and iron it. Flip over, fold the fabric lengthwise and iron it. Sew both ends 1 centimeter from the edges. Notch out the corner to reduce bulk. Turn it over so that the open edges are on the inside. Shape the corner neatly. You can use some pointy objects, such as a pen, point turner, or even scissors. Then iron everything over again. Use some wonder clips to secure and align the edge in place. Top stitch all the way around with a 5mm seam allowance to secure the handle in place. Next, we'll attach the handle to the main body. First, mark the handle placement on the main body. Align the handle with the markings and sew it into place. My fabric is very thick, so I have to lower the feed dog to make it easier to insert the fabric under the presser foot. Once the fabric is set, don't forget to put the feed dog back up before sewing. Thick fabric can lead to skipped stitches, so consider using a larger needle size, such as 90/14 or 116. You may also need to adjust your thread tension. I typically use a higher thread tension and lower presser foot pressure when working with multiple layers and heavy materials. Increasing the stitch length to 2.5 or 3 might help as well. If you're still finding it difficult to sew, try sewing slowly and manually turning the hand wheel. When you're finished stitching, lower the feed dogs again to help remove the fabric easily. Complete attaching the other side of the handle, then we'll work on the divider zipper pocket next. Now, we are going to create the divider pocket. Separate both sides of the zipper tape. Take the zipper pull with the right side up and insert each side of the tape into the rounded end of the pull. Then, give the pull a push and guide the zipper chain into the holes on the pole. Line up the fabric so they are even, and then you can slide the pole onto the zipper. With the zipper tab fabric piece wrong side facing up, fold it lengthwise and iron to make creases. Open the fabric, fold both raw edges inward to the crease line and iron it. Then, fold it lengthwise again and iron it. Finish the other side of the zipper tab, and then wrap the zipper ends with the tabs. Top stitch 1 to 2 millimeters next to the edges. Trim the zipper tabs. Mark the center point of the zipper, exterior piece and interior piece to make alignment easier. Take the exterior piece and place it with the right side facing up. Center the zipper on top with the wrong side facing up. Then place the interior piece on top with the wrong side facing up. Sandwich all these layers together using a zipper foot with a 6mm seam allowance. When you get to where your zipper pull is, you may have to just lift your presser foot while leaving your needle in the down position. Then you can slide the zipper pull out of your way, and you can lower your presser foot and keep on sewing. Open up the divider pocket so the right sides are facing up and press to flatten the stitching. Then top stitch 3mm in from the edge. Repeat this process on the other side of the divider zipper pocket. Take the exterior piece and place it with the right side facing up. Center the zipper on top with the wrong side facing up. Then place the interior piece on top with the wrong side facing up. Sandwich all these layers together using a zipper foot with a 6mm seam allowance. Open up the divider pocket so the right sides are facing up and press to flatten the stitching. Then top stitch 3mm in from the edge. Bring the right sides facing each other and mark 1 centimeter in from the edge on both sides. Align the side edges and secure them with clips. Start stitching from these markings with a 5mm seam allowance on both sides. Trim around 2 millimeters out from the edges to reduce bulk. Flip the pocket right side out. You can use tools such as a pen to shape the corner, then smooth out and iron it well. Mark 1 centimeter in from the edge on both sides. Start stitching from these markings with an 8 millimeter seam allowance on both sides to enclose the raw edges. We'll attach the divider pocket to the base fabric now. Mark the midpoint of the divider pocket and the base fabric of the main body. With one of the base fabric pieces right side facing up, put the divider zipper pocket on top, and then put the other base fabric piece wrong side facing up. Secure the 3 layers in place with some wonder clips. Sew along the edge with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Open the seam and iron to make it flat. With everything right sides facing up, sew 3 millimeters away from each side of the pocket. We have completed the divider pocket. Set it aside for now, and we will work on the long gussets in the next step. Place the gusset fabric with its right side facing each other. Clip to secure the fabric in place and sew along lengthwise with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Trim the corners to reduce bulk, then turn the fabric right side out and iron it flat. I will use a hot ironing ruler to help straighten the edges while ironing, but be cautious cause the ruler can become very hot. Next, top stitch lengthwise with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Follow the same procedure, complete the other long gusset, and set them aside for now. Next, we'll work on the slip pockets. With the wrong side of the lining for the slip pocket piece facing up, fold it lengthwise and press the folded edge. Top stitch 1 centimeter in from the folded edge. Mark the midpoint of the slip pocket and draw a vertical center line. Align and clip the slip pocket with the front or back pattern piece of the main body, right sides facing up. Sew 5 millimeters in from the edges and then sew the center line. Complete another slip pocket, and we will use it to assemble the lining in the next step. Have the slip pockets and divider zipper pocket ready for assembly. Place the slip pocket with its right side facing the divider pocket. Mark 1 centimeter in from the edge on both sides. We will sew between these markings. Clip along the edges to secure the layers in place. Sew along the edge between the marked points with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Position a second slip pocket with its right side facing the divider pocket and mark 1 centimeter inward from the edge on both sides. Again, we'll stitch between the marked points. Mark a 15 centimeter gap on the edge. We will leave it unstitched to turn out the pouch later. Secure the layers together by clipping along the sides. Maintain a 1 centimeter seam allowance and sew along the edge from one marked point to another, leaving the center portion unstitched. Press all seam allowances toward the divider pocket. Next, we'll attach the long gussets and triangle gussets. Take a long gusset and position its raw edge along the left-hand side of the back panel, ensuring the right sides are facing each other. Let it hover slightly above the base seam. Then, grab a triangle gusset and lay it over the top, with its wrong side facing upward and all edges lined up. On the bottom edge of the triangle gusset, I have already measured and marked 1 centimeter in from the edge on both sides. These are where we'll stop our stitching. Clip to secure all layers in place. We will sew with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Follow the same steps to attach another long gusset and triangle gusset to the right-hand side of the back panel. When you're done, it'll look like this. Next, we'll attach the gussets to the front panel. Take the left long gusset and place its inside surface against the left side of the front panel. Line up the raw edges and use clips to hold them together. Then, place a triangle gusset with its wrong side facing up on top, matching all the edges. Clip everything in place to secure it. Along the lower edge of the triangle gusset, I have already measured and marked a point 1 centimeter inward from each side. These are where we'll stop our stitching. Repeat the same steps and position the right long gusset so its interior rests against the right side of the front panel. Align the raw edges and secure them with clips. Take a triangle gusset and place it on top with its wrong side facing up. Line up the raw edges and clip to secure in place. Along the lower edge of the triangle gusset, I have already measured and marked a point 1 centimeter inward from each side. Sew with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Remember to stop sewing at the marked point. This is the complete lining of the open-up pouch. The divider zipper pocket in the center, a 15 cm length gap in one of the base seams, and 4 triangle gussets at the edges. Since the main body's exterior has rounded corners, we'll shape the lining to match. Lay the lining flat and use the paper pattern as a guide to mark the rounded corners. Trim the marked corners with scissors, then set the lining aside. In the next step, we'll attach the zipper. Find the center point of the zipper and the lining by folding them in half and marking them with a fabric marking pen. With the right side of the zipper facing up and its teeth going inwards, center and clip to secure it with the lining in place, then mark the corners and at the end of the gussets. To make the zipper curve around the lining more smoothly, you can cut small notches about 3 mm in from the edge at the corners. Next, open the zipper and pin to hold it to the lining in place. I will pin the center point first and then both ends of the zipper, and then pin them all down. Remember, the right side of the zipper should be facing up and its teeth should go inwards. Next, we will sew with a 5 mm seam allowance, starting from 1 cm in from the end of the gusset and ending 1 cm from the end of the other side. If you're worried about forgetting to start and stop sewing 1 cm from the ends of the gusset, you can add markings before sewing. Repeat the exact same process on the other side, and you will have something like this. Before attaching the main body to the lining, I'll first arrange the lining so the main body can be placed on top more easily. After that, find the center point of the main body by folding it in half and marking it with a fabric marking pen. Center the back panel of the main body, which has the handle, and align it to the center marking of the zipper with the right sides facing together. Remember to sandwich the main body's back panel with the lining's back panel. Similar to how you add the zipper to the lining, center and clip to secure the zipper with the main body in place by pinning or clipping the center point first, and then both ends of the zipper, and then pin or clip them all down. Next, we will sew with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, starting from 1 centimeter in from the end of the gusset and ending 1 centimeter from the end of the other side. Repeat the same process on the front panel. Mark the center point, and at the end of the wings, clip the main body and the lining together to secure them in place, and then sew with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Remember to begin sewing 1 centimeter from the end of the gusset and stop 1 centimeter before the opposite end. After completing the sewing, we can proceed to the next step. I've already sewn the zipper, and this is what the semi-finished piece looks like. Next, I'll notch the corners about 7 to 8 millimeters from the edge before turning the pouch inside out to ensure the corners come out nice and flat. we need to attach the zipper pulls. I'll first mark the center point and at the end of the gusset, then add a few stitches to secure the fabric at the end of the wing in place for easier alignment. As you can see, I'll fold the tip of the wing along the extended line of the sewing and hand sew the tip to secure it in place. Make sure the lining is not sewn together. Repeat the same on the other side. Next, take a zipper pull with the right side up and also with the main body right side up, and insert each side of the tape into the rounded end of the pull. Give the pull a push and guide the zipper chain into the holes on the pole. Line up the fabric so they are even, and then you can slide the pole onto the zipper. Add a safety clip to avoid the slider being pulled out accidentally. Next, align and clip the zipper and edges in place, starting at the center and working outward. When clipping the main body, keep the lining clear since we're only sewing through the main fabric and zipper. Ensure everything is flat and straight for a clean box shape. I know it's easy to forget to check the lining when sewing on the zipper, so I suggest taping it down to avoid accidentally sewing it into the main body. Sewing, I'll hand sew the edges and then remove all clips before using the sewing machine, like so. Now, sew with a 1 centimeter seam allowance to close the pouch. When you get to those metal teeth, take it easy. Go slow and manually turn the hand wheel so you don't break the needle. You've got to make sure the needle slips right between the teeth, nice and clean. Backstitch a few times near the metal teeth to make sure it's nice and secure. Before moving to the next step, check all stitching. Ensure the seam allowance is even and the lining isn't sewn to the main fabric. Then, remove the hand stitches and turn the pouch inside out to check if the box shape looks good. If the edges and corners don't look good, go check if the seam allowance is correct. The sewing for the closing line is neat and tidy, and you may need to rework it. When pulling the slider, be careful not to pull it all the way to the end, as you might accidentally remove it. If that happens, you'll need to rip out the machine-sewn stitches at the zipper, reattach the slider, and sew the zipper back in place. I think it looks good to me, so I'm going to close the other side of the main body. Once it is done, it will look like this. Next, we'll close the lining. Just like you did with the main body, align and clip the zipper into place. But this time, include also the lining and clip them together. To ease alignment, I'll fold the tip of the wing along the extended line of the sewing and hand sew the tip to secure it in place. Then start clipping at the center and work outward, ensuring everything stays flat and straight to maintain a crisp, boxy shape. Make sure you move the gusset and the divider pocket out of the way when you are aligning and clipping the lining with the zipper and the main body. Again, to make sewing smoother, I'll hand stitch the edges, then take off all the clips before switching to the sewing machine. Follow the stitching line you already sewed on the main body and sew along it to close the pouch. Attaching all the layers can be tricky because they're so thick. Using the hand wheel to manually move the needle forward and backward while gently pushing the fabric can help with the thicker sections. You may notice that my presser foot got caught on the zipper slider, which stopped it from moving forward. I shifted the foot to the side to get past the slider. When you reach the metal zipper teeth, slow down. Take your time and use the hand wheel to manually guide the needle to prevent it from breaking. Carefully position the needle to glide smoothly between the teeth for a clean finish. Don't forget, when you are near those metal teeth, throw in a few back stitches to lock everything down tight and keep it secure. Now, one side is done and we need to repeat the same on the other side. Once you've completed closing the lining on both sides, you can remove the hand stitching lines and cut the excess zipper tapes off. Here we come to the most exciting part. Turn the pouch inside out to check the final look. The larger the gap you leave for turning it, the easier this step will be. I am so happy with the result, and I am going to close the gap using a blind stitch. Next, press all seams to set them, ensuring a crisp, defined box shape while helping the main zipper lie flat for smooth top stitching. With the right side of the main fabric facing up, we'll now top stitch 5 millimeters from the main zipper. Given the thickness of the fabric around the zipper, I increased the stitch length to avoid overcrowded stitches, which could stiffen the seam or strain the machine. To allow the pouch to sit better around the free arm, I removed the sewing machine's table for better maneuverability. While sewing, keep checking to ensure there are no fabric folds and that the gusset isn't caught in the top stitch. Once the top stitching on both sides of the zipper is done, we can attach the gussets. Depending on your fabric's thickness, you can attach the gussets with either rivets or sewing. I'll first demonstrate how to use rivets, then show you the sewing method in the next section. For this blue pouch, I'm using double cap rivets to secure the gussets since the layers were too thick to fit under my sewing machine's presser foot. If your fabric layers are thin enough to fit under the presser foot, you can opt for sewing instead. Begin by marking the center point of your gusset, then line up the gusset with the end of the divider zipper pocket, keeping it centered, and mark where your double cap rivets will go. Remove the divider pocket from the fold the gusset in half separately along the center notches. Then grab your punch pliers or hole punch like the one that I have, and punch out the rivet holes. Now, clip the gusset to the divider pocket and pull it as tight as possible against the zipper pocket. Trace the holes you just punched onto the divider pocket, then unclip the gusset and use your punch pliers or hole punch to cut those matching holes separately. If your marking sits on the thread, adjust the hole's location slightly away from it to avoid damaging or breaking the thread. Time for the rivets. Attach the caps first, then use your press to set them firmly in place. Repeat the exact same process on the other side. All right, let's dive into the sewing method. Just like with the rivet method, grab your gusset and mark its center point. Then line that mark up with the end of your divider zipper pocket. Gotta make sure it's perfectly centered. Pop on some clips to hold the gusset and zipper pocket nice and snug. Now, hand stitch along the edges to keep those layers locked in place. Once that's done, pull off all the clips and you're ready to roll with the sewing machine. If the fabric is too thick to begin sewing from the top, start inserting the fabric from the middle and use back stitch to sew toward the topmost edge. Flip it over and repeat the whole process on the other side. All right, let's swing back to our blue pouch. We attached the gussets with rivets in the last section, So now it's time to double-check each rivet. Make sure they're all secure and ready to hold everything together. If they're looking good, go ahead and zip it up. Your open-up pouch is ready to go. Thanks for joining me in this pouch-making adventure. I hope you enjoyed following along to personalize your own creation. Don't forget to grab the PDF pattern from the link in the description. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share your finished projects with me. Happy crafting, and see you in the next video.